Let's get started with our first news. Paddy Pimblett believes Max Holloway will come out on top in his trilogy fight against Dustin Poirier at UFC 318. Even though Dustin has already beaten Max twice, Paddy thinks things will play out differently this time and is backing Holloway to get the win. Paddy knows the odds are stacked against Holloway. After all, it's not easy to beat someone who's already beaten you twice. That history weighs heavily on any fighter's mind. But for Paddy, that's exactly what makes Holloway so dangerous right now. He sees a man with something to prove, a man who refuses to let his legacy be defined by losses to the same opponent over and over. Paddy explained that it would be heavy for Holloway if there are two different fighters who have beaten him 3 times each. That's not just a record, it's a burden. It's something that stays with you forever, something fans and analysts will never let you forget. Holloway knows this, and according to Paddy, it's the kind of motivation that can turn a fight on its head. He even recalled something Holloway said about Dustin. "He took a lot from me, he gave me my first loss and he took away my win streak, so I'm going to take his retirement fight." Those words show a level of determination and personal stakes that you don't see every day. Paddy thinks Holloway isn't just fighting for a win, he's fighting for redemption. According to Paddy, that's real motivation. That's the kind of fire you can't fake. It's raw, personal, and it can push you beyond your limits. Paddy believes Holloway will channel all that energy and come into the octagon with a plan, with focus, and with absolute dedication to making sure the result is different this time. He added, "I can see Holloway winning, to be honest. Don't know why, I think it's just one of them." For Paddy, this isn't about statistics or fight math. It's about feeling. It's about knowing what it's like to be in there and sensing when a fighter is hungry enough to do something special. Paddy also pointed out a huge X factor: Dustin's hometown. Dustin's fighting in his hometown. It's his last fight. Everyone expects him to win. That pressure, I think it might get to him. Fighting at home can be a blessing or a curse. Yes, the crowd is behind you, but the weight of expectation is enormous. The idea of giving your fans a perfect farewell can mess with your head. Paddy believes that pressure might make Dustin tight, cautious, or distracted. "You might think it's more favorable for Dustin since he's beaten him twice," Paddy admitted. "But I'm backing Holloway here." In the end, Paddy sees a man who's desperate to rewrite the story and a champion who might be vulnerable under the spotlight of his own farewell. And that's why he's putting his money on Holloway to pull off the upset and deliver a career-defining victory at UFC 318. Moving on to the second news, Daniel Cormier has shared some strong thoughts about Jon Jones, and it's definitely raising a few eyebrows across the MMA world. During a recent interview with Bloody Elbow, Cormier made it clear he genuinely hopes Jon doesn't turn into another Conor McGregor-type figure in the media. And honestly, when DC says something, fans usually pay attention because of the history between them. He didn't shy away from the reality of their rivalry. He started by admitting, "Jon Jones and I don't see eye to eye in most instances," which shouldn't surprise anyone. These two have had one of the most intense and personal rivalries in UFC history. But despite that tension, Cormier showed he could still be fair. He even admitted that Jones has actually been good for his YouTube channel. "Boy, he's been great for my YouTube these last couple of months," Cormier said with a bit of humor. "Him flopping all over the place has been great for my channel." It was a classic DC moment, honest, a little sarcastic, but also acknowledging the obvious. Jon Jones remains one of the biggest names in the sport, and anything he does draws massive attention. But then came the serious part of the conversation. Cormier turned the tone and added, "Please don't become what Conor McGregor has become in the media." And if you follow MMA, you know exactly what he means by that. He explained, "Every time a big story breaks, Conor's like, 'I'm back' or 'I'm doing this.' Don't do that. Don't try to make it about you when you voluntarily walked away from this." That line hit hard. It was DC's way of saying that the sport is bigger than any single fighter's ego or need for the spotlight. Cormier was also careful to point out the difference in their exits. He said Conor didn't voluntarily walk away. Conor got hurt and he left. He just hasn't come back. That's a big distinction. Conor's time away was forced by injury, but for Jones, it's different. DC made that clear. Jon voluntarily said, "I'm done." So now that he's done, don't try to make these stories about you whenever you're a guy that's supposed to have walked away from the game. In short, DC is sending a strong message. If you've stepped away, stay away quietly. Don't keep jumping back into the spotlight just to grab headlines and attention. Meanwhile, over in the heavyweight division, Tom Aspinall is starting to get visibly impatient. This is a man who's been waiting for the UFC to announce his first official title defense, and it's obvious that he's ready to go. Fans can sense it too. He's not hiding it at all. In fact, he even posted a short but powerful video to TikTok with a simple caption that spoke volumes. "Waiting for the UFC to announce my next fight." That one sentence told everyone exactly where his head's at. He's training, he's prepared, he's just waiting for that phone call and that official bout agreement. The heavyweight division is buzzing right now, and fans know Aspinall is a major piece of that puzzle. The longer the UFC takes, the more the anticipation builds. People are speculating about who he'll face, how the matchup will look, and whether he'll be able to cement himself as the undisputed champion. But it's not just fight hype and callouts coming from Tom. He's also sending a very serious warning to the public, one that has nothing to do with the octagon but everything to do with personal boundaries. In an interview with MMA Mania, Aspinall didn't mince words at all. He made it crystal clear that taking photos of his children without permission is absolutely not okay. He said, "The only time I'll be a dick to you is if I'm with my children and you take a picture without my consent. There might be hands flying because I've been close to that a few times." Think about that. This is a professional fighter, someone who's generally calm and respectful with fans, saying openly that there's a line you don't cross, and for him that line is his family. It's easy to forget that these athletes live in the public eye constantly. They sign autographs, take selfies, and smile for the camera at events and airports, but they also want to protect the people closest to them. Aspinall didn't stop there. He added, "It's just wrong. Don't take pictures of my kids without consent. That's a horrendous thing to do. I hate that." Those words were strong for a reason. He wants people to understand there's a real violation happening when someone points a camera at his kids without even asking. It's about respect. It's about understanding that even famous athletes have the right to private family time without feeling like they're being stalked by strangers. But he also made sure to clarify that he's not against fan interactions at all, as long as it's done the right way. He said, "Come over and ask me for a picture. Even if I'm with my kids, I'll probably say yes, and if I don't, it's for a good reason." Just putting that out there. That's the key. He's not trying to shut people out or act like he's too good for photos. He just wants respect and common sense. He's happy to share a moment with fans, but he draws the line at involving his children without permission. So while everyone's eagerly waiting for news about his next fight, it's clear Tom Aspinall is also making sure people understand his boundaries. He's not just a champion in the cage, he's a father who's serious about protecting his family, and that's something fans should respect just as much as his knockout power in the octagon. Now let's move on to another story. Alexander Volkanovski has given his take on what he believes was Charles Oliveiras' Big E mistake at UFC 317. Heading into that highly anticipated fight, Charles seemed extremely confident. He wasn't shy about it. He pointed to his size and punching power as the reasons why he believed he'd be able to beat Ilia Topuria. For Charles, the idea was simple. He was the bigger man with serious knockout power, and he felt that would be enough. But according to Volkanovski, that kind of thinking ended up being Charles's undoing. It wasn't just overconfidence, it was a fundamental flaw in his approach to this fight. Volkanovski pointed out that Topuria had already shown fearsome punching power at featherweight, taking out big names like Volkanovski himself and Max Holloway. Despite this, Oliveiras seemed to dismiss the idea that he couldn't hang with Topuria on the feet. He was so convinced of his own ability to stand and trade that he ignored some crucial adjustments that might have given him a better chance. As fans saw, that strategy backfired in brutal fashion. Topuria ended up starting Charles in the very first round. It was a violent finish with two devastating hooks following a grappling exchange that turned the momentum completely. It was quick, decisive, and left no doubt about who the better fighter was that night. More recently, Volkanovski was a guest on the Flagrant podcast where he went even deeper into what went wrong for Charles. Discussing the game plan, he said, "With Charles, I just thought he probably had other ways of winning. He should have avoided the crash, right? He just didn't. He decided to crash. That's why I picked a first-round finish. Yeah, I thought Ilia was going to knock him out." For Volkanovski, it wasn't just about power or technique. It was about strategy and discipline. He believed Charles had multiple paths to victory. He could have used his grappling, his submission skills, and his experience to make it a tougher, longer fight. Instead, he chose to rush in, to try and impose his will immediately. That decision cost him everything. When asked what he thinks future opponents need to do against Topuria, Volkanovski was quick to highlight the importance of testing Ilia's cardio. He said, "We want to see the gas tank. See what happens with that. Because I thought Charles, when he was taking him down and forcing the sort of wrestle and grapple, it felt like it was starting to wear on him a little bit." Volkanovski explained that even when Charles ended up on top during the grappling, there were signs of fatigue. Even when he ended up on top during the grappling, I don't know if you remember, Ilia gets up and then, well, remember he was just staying up, kicking him, didn't let him up. He waited like 30 seconds, kicked his legs, got his breath back. That probably took a little out of him, which I thought was clever. Then the ref stood him up and he's like, "All right, back to striking." What do you think of Volkanovski's analysis here? Is he right? Would someone like Armen Tsarukyan be able to test Topuria's wrestling defense and cardio if they ever meet in the cage? Or could someone like Paddy Pimblett use a clinch-heavy game to slow Ilia down and try to take his back? These are the questions fans and analysts are going to be asking until Topuria's next big challenge. Speaking of Paddy Pimblett, let's talk about his most recent and fiery statements. Paddy has once again lit up the MMA world with bold words, claiming that he will knock out Ilia Topuria. While the fight hasn't been made official yet, The tension between these two fighters is absolutely real. They've been going back and forth online for months now, throwing verbal jabs, taunting one another, and keeping fans locked in and waiting for this matchup to finally happen. During a recent interview with Sky Sports News, Paddy didn't hold back when asked about how he sees the fight going. He made it crystal clear. He's confident that he can take out El Matador. Not only that, he compared the potential finish to one of the most iconic knockouts in UFC history, Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo. Paddy said, "I'm confident I can finish El Matador the same way Conor McGregor finished Jose Aldo. But if I do it that way, I'd actually be disappointed." He went on to explain that he doesn't just want a quick, clean knockout, he wants to make a statement. "I don't want to just finish him in seconds. I want to beat him up for a consistent couple of rounds, hit him with like 70 elbows, disfigure him a little bit, and then finish him," Paddy said with complete seriousness. That level of intensity tells you just how personal this potential matchup has become. He didn't stop there. Paddy added, "I don't see him lasting 5 rounds with me. I genuinely believe I'd finish him. I keep having these mad dreams that I finish him in the first 10 seconds like McGregor did Aldo. But that wouldn't be good enough for me. I'd want to make it last and really do damage." It's clear that for Pimblett, this fight isn't just about winning, it's about dominating. He wants to send a message, hurt Topuria, and prove that he belongs among the very top of the division. But while Paddy and Ilia seem to be on a collision course, they're not the only ones eyeing the featherweight throne. Justin Gaethje is also hungry for a title shot. In a video posted to skimboarder Austin Keane's YouTube channel, Gaethje revealed that he's more than ready to take on whoever comes out on top, whether it's Topuria or Arnold Allen. "I don't care who wins between Topuria and Allen. I just want to fight the winner," Gaethje said. Topuria is the big name right now. He's cocky. I'd love to knock him out. But he also added, "Honestly, I don't give a damn who it is. I just want the belt. I want to fight the winner in November at Madison Square Garden." On a lighter note, Gaethje also revealed something personal. He traded the Ferrari he won at Fanatics Fest for $400,000. That's right, a single prize car turned into nearly $500,000. Not a bad deal for a fighter looking to stay sharp, stack cash, and chase gold. Finally, let's talk about something a little bit different from the usual fight breakdowns and callouts. This one's a personal story that's been getting a lot of attention. Daniel Cormier's truck has been found. For those of you who might have missed it, last week Daniel shared some pretty frustrating news. While he was in Vegas doing commentary work for UFC 317, his truck was actually stolen from the airport. Imagine that! You're in Vegas working one of the biggest events of the year, providing expert analysis for fans all over the world, and meanwhile someone's back home taking off with your truck. That's the kind of news that makes anyone angry. Daniel is known for being a pretty chill guy, but you could tell he was seriously frustrated when he shared that with his fans. But today he had a completely different update. Cormier revealed that the San Jose Police Department actually found the truck, and you could hear the relief and surprise in his voice. He went online and told everyone exactly how it went down. He said, "Somebody stole my truck at the San Jose airport. God damn it, unbelievable. Alright guys, I just got the word that the San Jose PD did it. They found my truck. Can you believe that?" He didn't hold back his honest reaction. He admitted he really thought it was gone forever. And who wouldn't? Once a vehicle is stolen, the odds of getting it back in one piece are pretty slim. That's why he was genuinely impressed. He praised the San Jose PD, saying, "They got it done. Go San Jose, best in the Bay." It was classic Cormier, straightforward, real, and grateful. He even joked about what happens next. "Will I keep the truck? I don't know, man. I don't think so. But they found it. The San Jose PD, best in the Bay." It's moments like this that remind you these fighters and commentators aren't just athletes or celebrities. They're people. They deal with the same kind of nonsense everyone else does. Getting your car stolen is such a relatable headache, and seeing DC react with that mix of anger, relief, and gratitude made it feel incredibly real. So hats off to the San Jose Police Department for tracking it down and getting it back to him. Even though Daniel's not sure if he'll keep it, the important part is that justice was served, and the truck didn't just disappear forever. And that wraps it up for today's MMA news. From Paddy Pimblett's bold predictions about Holloway and Topuria, to Daniel Cormier's warnings for Jon Jones, and now his genuine gratitude for the police recovering his stolen truck, there's truly no shortage of drama, honesty, and big talk in the world of fighting right now. We'll see if Holloway can really get it done against Poirier this time, if Paddy can actually back up all that talk when he faces Topuria, if Gaethje can finally lock in that big title shot at Madison Square Garden, and of course if Jon Jones can resist the urge to pull a classic McGregor in the media spotlight. Stay tuned for more updates on these stories and many more, as the world of MMA keeps delivering huge fights, wild trash talk, and those unforgettable moments fans live for. Thank you for watching, and make sure to stay locked in right here for all the breaking news, deep analysis, and exclusive fighter interviews coming your way. See you next time!